Welcome back to rawCast, everyone. I'm Artie, and with me today is Allie.
Hey, everyone.
And we're going to jump right into it today.
Yeah.
This is a hot topic
Yeah, it is.
that's been making the rounds lately,
Yeah.
and it has to do with AI in advertising.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we all saw the Coca-Cola Christmas ad.
Yeah, I mean...
That was AI generated.
That one was pretty captivating.
Yeah.
I mean, just in the sense that it really puts a spotlight on the reality of AI in advertising. You know, and how it's not just this magic process. Like,
right.
You know, it's really a journey with humans at the heart of it.
Yeah, and it's not. Like, you just plug in some words into a magical machine and boom, you've got a commercial.
Exactly.
Our source really breaks down the process into 3 key stages, and it all starts with a vision.
Absolutely.
You know, a clear creative vision.
Yeah, that vision is key.
Then from that vision, it goes into navigating the multiple AI tools and the steps that it takes to achieve that vision.
Yeah, that's where it gets kind of intricate.
Right.
Because each tool has its own quirks and capabilities.
Right. And then finally it comes down to really that meticulous attention to detail and refining and polishing that really kind of elevates that work.
Right. The devil's in the details.
And speaking of details, I mean, the Coca-Cola ad is like
oh my gosh,
a prime example of how intricate this can be.
That's mind-boggling.
They used 18,000 images, 17 artists across 3 continents.
Yeah.
They produced 34 shots, which ended up being 85 minutes of content.
Wow.
I mean, they did all this in under 3 weeks.
And what's even more impressive is they ended up with 45 different versions of the ad, tailored to 16 different markets.
Oh my God, talk about a logistical and creative feat.
Yeah, talk about a logistical and creative feat. Does this challenge that notion that AI is just going to replace creative professionals?
It certainly does. I mean, the source makes this really great comparison to the arrival of Photoshop. Like, remember when Photoshop first came out?
And everyone thought, oh my gosh, this is going to make designers obsolete. And what happened, it became like this powerful tool in their arsenal.
Right.
And really pushed creative boundaries further than we could have ever imagined. And it seems like AI in advertising is kind of on that same trajectory.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems like we're moving away from this versus mentality to a collaborative one where AI becomes another tool.
Exactly.
In the creative toolbox.
Yeah.
Augmenting human talent rather than replacing it.
Right. It's not about replacement. It's about augmentation.
And it's so important to recognize that there's so much human effort.
Oh, absolutely.
That goes into crafting these AI-powered ads.
Yeah.
You know, for example, like AI-generated faces. Like, to achieve those natural-looking features requires hours and hours of meticulous refinement by skilled artists. So it's not just like you're plugging in prompts and letting the AI do all the work.
Wow.
There's still that human artistry and craftsmanship that's involved.
Absolutely.
And in fact, the source suggests that creating an AI ad can often require just as much, if not more effort than traditional production methods.
Yeah, it's not about declaring one method superior to the other. It really comes down to choosing the right approach for the specific needs of the project. And that boils down to budget timeline, the desired creative outcome. And, you know, sometimes traditional production is still the most effective route.
Right.
Like, imagine a scene that needs really nuanced acting, like subtle emotions being conveyed. In those cases, like a traditional shoot with human actors might just be better.
Yeah, that makes me think about Runway's Act 1 tool, which aims to generate those realistic acting performances using AI.
Right.
But our source mentions it's still developing technology, so it seems like we're not quite there yet. Yeah,
it's definitely an area to watch closely, though. I mean, the pace of advancement in AI is just remarkable.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some serious progress in AI-generated acting pretty soon.
Yeah, it raises some interesting questions.
It does.
What does that mean for the future of actors and the film industry as a whole?
That's a topic for a whole other deep dive.
Right.
But getting back to advertising, let's talk about the Vodafone ad. You know, it really showcases how AI can be used to evoke powerful emotions.
Yeah, that ad is so impactful. The way they incorporated the Corona song, every frame is visually stunning. The overall effect is so engaging, like you can't help but want to get up and dance.
It really makes you want to move. And what's really cool is that Vodafone worked with a director and a team of 10 AI artists.
Wow.
To create that ad. So it's like this seamless blend of human vision and AI capabilities.
Yeah, it's like giving an artist a brand new set of brushes, expanding their creative palette while still relying on their artistic skill and vision and to guide the process.
I love that analogy. And this leads to a really thought-provoking point that the source brings up. Like, how do we perceive work that's created with AI? Do we judge it differently just because of the tools that are used?
It's a great question. I mean, we don't look at a photograph and say, wow, what a stunning DSLR photo.
Right.
We appreciate it for its artistic merit, the composition, the emotions it evokes. So shouldn't we apply that same criteria to AI-generated content?
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So maybe it's time we shift our focus away from that label of AI-generated and just engage with the work itself. Experience it on its own terms.
Yeah. Experience it for what it is, not how it was made.
Exactly. And our source really argues that. AI is just another tool in the creative arsenal, just like a camera or a paintbrush. It's the human element, the vision, the craftsmanship, that really shapes the work's significance.
Absolutely.
It seems like the magic, the creativity, the human touch. Those are the elements that'll always be at the heart of great advertising, no matter how technology evolves. That human element is essential.
That's a powerful insight. AI may be transforming the landscape of advertising, but it's the human vision, the artistry, the craft. That will always be the driving force behind impactful and memorable work.
We'd love to hear from our listeners, too. Have you experimented with any AI tools in your own creative endeavors?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this evolving role of AI in advertising?
It's such a dynamic time to be in this field.
Yeah.
AI is pushing us to think differently, to experiment more, really redefine what's possible. It's like this invitation to step outside our comfort zones.
It makes you wonder what incredible creations we're going to see in the years to come as these tools become even more sophisticated and more accessible. I mean, what boundaries are going to be pushed, what new forms of expression are going to emerge.
It is exciting to think about all the possibilities. I mean, the potential for innovation is just vast. And I can't wait to see how artists and advertisers continue to leverage AI in new and surprising ways.
Yeah. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into AI in advertising for this episode of rawCast. Allie, as always, it has been an absolute pleasure having you share your insights with us.
It's been a fascinating conversation. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to rawCast. We hope this episode sparked some new ideas for you and maybe even inspired you to explore the world of AI in your own creative work.
Keep those creative sparks flying.
Join us again next time for more interesting chats. And remember, stay curious.